I'm about to take you through my science learning journey. I was fortunate to take a science methods course that taught me a lot about the world of science. I think it's pretty amazing how much my brain has soaked in from early September to early December. I'm going to take you through a few sections of my science learning journal. Now, at the beginning of the semester, we were asked to draw a scientist. There weren't any rules, just draw a scientist. Well, here's my drawing of what I thought a scientist looked like. George Washington Carver was the first scientist I ever learned about. My mother taught me about him when I was really little, and she said, George Washington Carver invented peanut butter. Did you know that? I then began to think about this man every time I ate PB&J, which was every day. Our instructor asked us questions about our drawings after we completed them. She wanted to know if we drew a man, if they were wearing a lab coat, if they had crazy hair or looked like Albert Einstein. Now, my depiction of a scientist had almost all the qualities she asked about except for race. And I thought, why is that? Why had I not drawn a woman? There are plenty of female scientists out there. Why had I not drawn myself? Well, that was pretty obvious. I didn't see myself as a scientist at all. Okay, so this picture shows my entire science journey from birth to now. I created a time capsule of letters to myself showing how my views about science changed over time. Now, like I said before, I never saw myself as a scientist, yet I was always curious, like always. Even now, I find myself asking questions about the world, and I'm always wanting to know more about it. Now, as I got older, my science experience wasn't the greatest. I dreaded most of my high school and college science courses because it was really boring. I don't feel like I learned much of anything. My brain was just loaded with numerous definitions, but there were no explanations, no real learning taking place. Sometimes I feel that if I had enjoyed my science experience, I might have chosen a different career. I think that education is a perfect fit for me, but I think a career in science might have suited me as well. My science experience put me in the mindset that girls aren't always good at science, and that's okay. Our brains just can't handle all of that knowledge. I wish I could go back, but I can't. I just have to keep moving forward and hope that I give my future students a more positive science experience. Have you ever been asked to build something? I hadn't until I entered the science methods course. I seriously thought I would not be able to complete the assignment because I started off having no idea what I was doing. This is my sketch of the animal I built for the assignment. I did a lot of research on its structure, environment, eating habits, and a bunch of other things related to this animal. While I was completing this assignment, I had no idea I was doing all of these amazing things related to STEAM, or science, technology, engineering, art, and math. I was learning about this animal's environment and behavior, using technology to inform others about this animal and perform research, tapping into my engineering and artistic side by creating a model of this animal, and actually using math to compare the model of my animal to the size of a real snapping turtle. Science can be challenging, yes, but this assignment showed me how achievable this discovery really is. I learned so much and was able to do so much without even realizing it. This is probably my favorite part of my science learning journal because it comes from a very personal and eye-opening experience. During my field experience, I was asked to teach my fourth graders about the circulatory system in one day. I know that's crazy. After touching on parts of the circulatory system, my students had a few questions about veins. My cooperating teacher then chimed in to inform students that your veins look blue because the blood in your veins are blue because they have not yet received oxygen. Now, this was something I had heard before, but part of my brain was struggling with this idea because I knew I had heard something different. One of the students in the class disputed the idea by mentioning an article he read online that proved that all blood is red. Well, which one is it? My students wanted to know so badly, but I had more things to cover. It was at that point that I decided to be flexible and go with the flow of my class. Luckily, that day we had an hour break in between the science class, so I had time to do a little research on this idea. When the students came back to the classroom, we all sat in a circle on the front carpet and had a little chat. I told them that sometimes when adults like me have burning questions or want to know more about something, we use the internet as a source to help us give us answers that we're looking for. I then presented them with the explanation that blood is always red. Veins look blue because of the way light reflects on it and the distance it is from the surface of our skin. I then collected questions and we all did research using the internet as our source for the rest of the class. At this moment, I began to see myself and my students as scientists. Our minds were on, our questions were itching to get answered, and we were doing the research to explain what we didn't understand. This really showed me the importance of inquiry-based learning because my students learned so much in such a short period of time. And it all stemmed from things they were interested in, and they were aiding me in the discovery. On that very day, we put an alternative conception to rest, and it was pretty amazing. I decided to give myself a redo of the first assignment. I now see that anyone can be a scientist. You don't have to have it as a career. You don't have to wear a specific kind of gear either. You just need to have a willingness to learn new things, no matter how challenging the process may be. Because of this course, I will continue to explore my burning questions and never stop seeking answers. My hope is that when I become an educator, my students will see themselves as scientists too.